Forward to Okay, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your night this evening. This is what we call like a power of peptides. Basically, what we're going to do is just kind of go through tonight, what the power of peptides are, who LAMD is, which is where we get access for our peptides, and then share a few stories. Primarily, Michelle would like to really share her story with those of you that joined in tonight so that she can just kind of tell you about her journey and what she's been doing. And then everybody has such a different journey on peptides, on GLP-1s, depending on what your, story is, your journey has been. And so we all are a little bit different. And so we just love to showcase different stories as well. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of kick this thing off. So basically what LEMD is it's just oh my gosh, perimenopause. Just totally lost my train of thought. We are telehealth platform, and we have medically guided peptides by licensed doctors. Everything goes through our platform. Everything is approved through our licensed doctors, and then it's sent to our 503A pharmacies. And why that is important is just because it is the highest quality. And we are using medical grade peptides, which is really important. Research grade is out there. You've maybe heard of it, seen it, and it is not for human consumption. And so you want to be very safe when you're sourcing your peptides. And so with me previously being on a cancer journey, for me, this was very, very important to make sure that what I was sharing with other people, what I was referring to other people, was from a very trusted and guided source. Because obviously, for those of you that might not know, heavy metals can cause cancer, and we triple purify our peptides. That's something that's super important to note because not all peptides are treated the same. Some companies will use fillers in them, and with LAMD, because we are the, highest source, we are NABP accredited, which is just means that we're accredited by the National Board of Pharmacy. So we are a very, very high standard. And so you can trust that where you're getting your peptides from at LAMD is an FDA approved facility. We use medical grade products. And I know lots of us have been on previous medical journeys, which is what has brought us to peptides. And we obviously don't want to make our situation any worse. And so you can just know that we can completely stand behind the safety and efficacy of our products at LAMD. And so this is more of a holistic wellness approach because peptides are science-based. It's just they're amino acids, and they're the building blocks of proteins, and that is what is already made in our bodies. And so therefore when we put these peptides into our bodies, it's kind of like these little messengers that just go to our body's systems, tell them what to do, how to perform, because as we age, unfortunately, like a lot of things, things go in the toilet, like our metabolism, insulin resistance, all of these different things that we deal with, especially women in midlife. And so these are amazing tools to just kind of help our body function how it's intended. That is the very kindergarten explanation because I am not a medical professional. But we have Rachel on here tonight as well, and she does have a background in health, and so she will probably go even more in detail with the sciencey things of it because that is not my expertise. I am an expert at hair. So with that, we will go ahead and get this kicked off. So we have Michelle. Michelle on tonight. And Michelle has had an amazing story, and she is the one that has invited you guys to the Zoom tonight because she really wanted to share her journey and her experience with what she's been going through and what she's been dealing with. So, Michelle, I'm just going to go ahead and let you kind of kick things off with sharing your story.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. So I've struggled my whole entire life with being overweight, trying to figure out how to lose weight and how to do it safely and how to just even get a pound off. In 2004, I had gastric bypass. I lost 195 pounds. I was able to maintain my weight loss up until about 10 years ago. And then about 8 years ago, I quit smoking and I just put on 100 pounds and I couldn't get it off. And I knew I had put on weight, and I had been working with my doctor, and she was teaching me how to count macros and what exercises I should be doing and all this. And I tried everything. I really did. And it wasn't until I seen the pictures from my son's wedding that it broke me, that I went to her crying and I'm like, you got to help me. This isn't working. This isn't me. This isn't where I want to be in life. And thankfully, she had done her doctorate on GLP-1 medications and she introduced me to them. And we tried really hard to get our insurance to pay for it, but it would cost us $1,500 a month to go through not having our insurance pay for it. So told me this is what you're going to want to watch for in a compounding pharmacy, the 503A, all in the US. She gave me a whole list. This is what you want to look for. This is what you want to stay with. This is what you want to stay away from. And so that's what I did. And I started my peptide journey in January. And in January, I started my first shot all on my own in my kitchen, standing there going, I can do this. And I did it. And I've never looked back. I have felt more alive. My mental health, it has just skyrocketed. I'm actually off all of my mental health medications now. I have more energy. I have more passion for life itself. And I am now, since I started the peptide journey, as of this morning when I stepped on the scale, I'm down 118 pounds just by using the peptides. I am so happy to be alive again. And I did this for my grandbabies. Yeah, I did it for myself, but I have grandbabies that I want to be able to run around with and keep up with. I'm old, but I'm not that old where I should be put in the closet and be like, you're done. No, I have such a passion for life that I am, for the first time in my life, actually running. I hated running. Even on EMS calls, I'd be like, go ahead and run. I'll catch up to you guys. I'll bring the boards. It's no, I actually run and I want to run, and I've never felt that before in my life. And I attribute it to the peptides. They make me feel, they helped bring me back to who I truly am. And I'm so thankful that I found them, and I can't wait to share with other people what these peptides can do. About 3 weeks ago, I started the GHKCU because I've got very fine hair, and it's was falling out because of the gastric bypass. And I don't know if you can see, but I have got some flyaways happening, and my nails are so strong right now. It's crazy. Like they were chipping and everything before that, and they're not anymore. I'm like clipping them and they're like having to clip. So the GHKCU is working amazing for me. Um, and I can't wait to try new peptides. I have postherpetic neuralgia, and I have a peptide in mind that I want to try So as soon as I come off the GHKCU and get cleared from that, I'm going to try this new one. I want to do them one at a time so that I don't overlap. So I know that this one is working. So I'm excited for the future of peptides. I'm excited for the future of everyone that uses these peptides. They're amazing. They should be available to everybody. And I can't wait to scream loud and proud about Ellie and what we can do for everyone. Um,
Oh my
that's
God.
about it for me, I guess.
I love that. I actually have never heard your full story before. Um,
Ah,
so I'm assuming you started January of last year, right?
January 2025. Yes.
Okay, I was like, I just want to be clear, like, so nobody thinks you're losing 118 pounds in like just a couple,
1 month.
because
Yeah.
that would be very concerning, actually. So that is amazing, though. Like, what a freaking incredible testimony. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
And Rachel and I are both like this because we're both, I just brushed my hair before I got on the Zoom because my hair was already sticking up again. Cause like it, after I like just chilled for a while, like it starts throwing up again,
Yeah.
which I'm happy about. But yes, the GHKCU I can attest to. It works very well. So that is amazing. I am so excited for your transformation, and I really appreciate you like sharing. I know it's very vulnerable to share your story, but I absolutely love that. And then what you said too about being able to like run and like do all of that stuff, it's like completely life changing for
It
people.
really is. It's just like I told my husband all the time, I said, I feel like I've been given a second chance.
Hmm.
Like this, and then I'm not going to waste it. I'm not. I'm going
I
to keep
love it.
hanging on there
I love it.
and just shooting for the stars.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I love that. So that's amazing. So that's Michelle's story. We all have a little bit of a different story. I'm just going to share mine really, really quickly. I had cancer in 2021 while I was pregnant with my son, and lost all my weight after cancer. We're cancer free, all of that. It all ended well. But after I was done nursing, out of nowhere, it was like I lost all the weight after I had him, and then bam, like I swear it was overnight. It just like packed right on. And mind you, I am a runner. I was running with the jogging stroller, like anywhere from 3 to 5 miles with my 3-year-old son in the jogger, which is very difficult, by the way. And I was lifting weights. I was doing all the things. I did 10-day detoxes. I was intermittent fasting. I talked to a coach. I was doing all the quote unquote right things. I went to my doctor. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm working out. I'm detoxing. I was taking all these different supplements. I was trying new supplements. Like nothing was working. And I'm not here to say like supplements have their place, but I'm just saying like everything I always was doing was no longer working. And I'd always been a very small person my whole entire life. So this 30 plus pounds was actually like quite frightening to me because I was like, I've never weighed that much except for when I was pregnant. And so I was like, what is going on? Go to the doctor. They're like, oh, welcome to 40. I was like, no, that's unacceptable. Like, and she just was like, dismissed it and was just like, whatever. And so anyways, I continued to try and try harder. And then finally, Rachel, who is on here, she's under Longevity Solutions. She was sharing on social media and everything she was talking about, and I'll leave her story to her story. She will share with us as well. But everything she was talking about was everything I was dealing with. And we were previously in the same company and taking some of the same products. And I was like, okay, girl, like what concoction are you taking? Because like none of this is working for me and I don't know what's happening. Everything you're talking about is everything I'm dealing with. And she just transparently was like, girl, I'm on the shot. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. Like, no way. I was so grateful she was honest, but I was also shocked. I was like, because this was back And probably when I reached out to her was maybe around September of 2024, early October. And so many people really weren't open about what they were doing. And so the fact that she was so open and honest is what shocked me. But I was like, no way. Well, then I put two and two together and realized that my sister was losing weight and my sister was also doing the same thing. And I was like, wait a minute, like this is two people that I really, really trust. And I kind of believed all the noise and all the fear mongering. And so I really like thought if I did the shot, I was like gonna croak or something. So I was like, like, oh my gosh, like really these two people are doing it? Like, is it actually safe? And then that's when I went down the rabbit hole of like looking, into all of this. And I trusted Rachel and I talked to our CEO of LEMD. Rachel got me on a Zoom with her just because of my previous health issues that I really wanted to make sure like this was a good option for me. So I did my due diligence, looked through everything, and I was just finally like desperate. And I was like, nothing I'm doing is working. Like I think I'm just gonna do this. And I had a lot of shame around it because of what everybody else kind of was shaming people in the beginning. But I think all of us that are doing this now are doing a fantastic job of really killing that shame game. Because we're educating people about what this really does to our bodies at a metabolic, state. And so it just became my mission at that point, like, okay, if this works for me, like, I think I'm going to have to tell people about this. So I get on it. Rachel, shares everything with me. Like I said, I was so grateful for that. And in the first week, I lost 5 pounds. And I was like, what? Like, I have been running, working out, doing everything, and I haven't lost a single pound. And in the summer, I had gained 15 in that summer. And I'm super active. I have 4 kids. Like, we run constantly. So I'm just like, I lost 5 pounds with not quote unquote doing anything per se, yet I've been running and couldn't even lose a pound. And it was so much inflammation, like my face had already changed in the first week. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. And it's more than just that, because by the time I was on my second shot, I had been dealing with tons of GI issues. I had colonoscopy, a full scope, everything. And every time I would eat, I would get so inflamed, so bloated. I was in just utter pain every single time I would eat. And my husband actually said to me, he's like, oh my gosh, Heather, you haven't complained about your stomach hurting like ever since you started. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. My stomach hasn't hurt at all. And so then that's when I like realized like there was more to this than just weight loss because I had been doctoring, I was on prescriptions. These prescriptions weren't helping my stomach at all. Since then, fast forward because I want to get to everyone else's story as well. I have been off of my medications. I do not have stomach pain at all anymore. I had one flare up when I was in Mexico in full transparency, but who knows what I ate there. A bunch of people in our group also got sick, so it's hard to say, right? I got to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I ate something bad. Maybe I had a flare up, first one in a year and a half. But I will tell you, in a year and a half, and I only had one, I will take that every day and twice on Tuesday when I literally felt like I did every single day of my life. And like for years, I've been dealing with this. And so I don't have the stomach issues. I'm not blowing up like a balloon every day. I don't have the inflammation and I've released 38 pounds. And the other thing is that after having cancer, obviously, inflammation feeds cancer, and it's not good for us to have in our bodies. So the fact that my inflammation markers are down, I was just in to see my doctor. Think it was 2 weeks ago, I had all of my labs drawn and everything is literally perfect. And she told me to continue on the microdose if it's working and gave me that validation, even at like, the size that I am. I'm not trying to lose any weight. I'm just taking it for longevity benefits at this point. and my stomach issues. And she said, well, it can change the gut microbiome. And so, like whatever you were dealing with, it's working. So if it's working, just keep going, but just don't lose any more weight. And I was like, no, I don't intend to lose any more weight, but to just get that validation after trying to find my answers for so many years. And now here I am. So it's also been very life changing for me as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shannon and have you share your experience, Shannon.
Well, mine is similar to Michelle's. I also had gastric bypass in 2020. I was overweight for my entire life as well. And I lost with that almost 175 pounds in about a year with my bypass surgery. Um, After that, hormones, life happened. Little weight kept creeping up here and there. Talked to my primary because I was getting scared that I didn't want to gain everything back. And, I was getting nervous. And she's like, well, we can put you on Ozempic, but yeah, your insurance don't cover anything. So it'd be $1,500 a month. And I'm like, well, I guess it doesn't even pay to write a prescription for that because I can't afford that. So after that, I reached out to Heather because I was watching her journey online and, you know, I saw she was doing amazing and she pointed me in the right direction and got me started with Ellie. And I started my GLP-1 in December of 2024 after I had a hysterectomy, where that was all my inflammation came from in my gut and my lady parts, let's put it that way. And after I started my GLP, I swear within the first week, that inflammation in my body like went down like
Shannon, you're muted, girlfriend. There we
well,
go.
there we
There we
go.
go.
I don't remember where I was.
You were
What
talking
was
about
I?
all the inflammation in your body.
Oh yeah. So the first week I said, I swear I lost like I want to say it was close to 12 pounds. Granted, I know that was water weight and all that good stuff, but the inflammation, I could feel it just gone. My cravings, the food noise, everything was like drastically lowered within that first week. Um, I added glutathione with my GLP to help with my gut. It's an antioxidant, and let me tell you, that was amazing. If you have a pooping problem, that is an amazing one. Plus, now with the GLP-1 support, I do that as well. That's our shake, and oh my god, I cannot start a morning without that. Um, it's amazing. Well, after I did 2 rounds of the weight loss management on the GLPs, and now I do a microdose for all the benefits to stay on track with all that and maintain my weight. Um, I joined Planet Fitness to get all my movement in, and I started lifting weights, and I started the tesamorelin and ipamorelin with that now, and I'm working on the muscles that's helping with my muscle. I've only been on it for just about a month, but I can tell a total difference in my pipes, I guess, if you want to. I can't see them, but I I my pep this I love biohacking with the peptides. It's amazing. I mean, like I want to try all of them, but like Michelle said, I like to try them individually, see which ones are working and helping for what. But my next one is GHKCU as well. So unless I stay on Tessa, we'll see. But that's my journey.
I love it. Thank you so much, Shannon. I
You're
love your
welcome.
story so
You're
much.
welcome.
And you've helped so many people on their journey. So thank you for that. I'm
Yes, you're
sure
welcome.
they are all so grateful for you. But I also want to turn it over to Rachel. We'll have her share her journey and close us out, Rachel, because she is the one that started this. She's the reason we're all here because without her being transparent to me, and helping me on my journey, we would not have been able to start this ripple of life-changing experiences and people regaining their life. So thank you, Rachel, for that. And also, Rachel does have a background in health and wellness. I don't know exactly what degree she has, but I just know she's very knowledgeable in all of it. So she's a wealth of knowledge as well. So once she's done sharing, if you wouldn't mind, Rachel, if anyone has any questions, if they could ask you questions too, that would be really wonderful.
Sure. Heather, you didn't know I was a doctor? I've been a doctor this whole time. No. Hello, everyone. I know it says Longevity Solutions. That's actually my LLC, and my name is Rachel Verachka. And like Heather said, I did start with peptides in September of 2024. And Heather and I knew each other from a previous company that we were in with supplements. So I like to start I was that person where to me, I was following the natural route of, my health and my healthy habits. And I am not a naturally, I don't have a natural high metabolism. Not been necessarily blessed with that in my life, but I have been lucky, and I like to say lucky because I just know it's just different for everyone. Our efforts are equally the same, but our body doesn't always respond the same, right? So up until about 40, I was able to manage kind of like this. I have, when you look at pictures and you're like chubbier, thin year, chubbier, thin year. Yeah, I mean, that's me. And so I'm the one who has like totes of clothes that are all different sizes because truly everything depended on just what was going on in my life. I'm an emotional eater, definitely eat at the time, ate away my emotions and different hardships that I've gone through in my life. And but I did feel pretty blessed. I was actually in the best shape of my life in 2022 when I actually got long COVID. And as being a very healthy person, it completely knocked me out, completely changed my life. I don't even know what to say. It changed everything. But at the same time, I decided to get a separation. And within that same 30 days, I found out my mom was terminally ill. She has cancer, but she has cancer that grows out throughout her whole body, but she got cancer in her liver where they couldn't do surgery. And all of that happened at once. So it's kind of like that perfect storm. And that's where everything started with me. But fast forward, I was in survival mode for many years. Got to 2024 and it was like, I don't know really what happened, but all of a sudden my body started reacting to everything. Stomach was really bad. It was living on Pepto-Bismol, like Heather said. I mean, I was chugging Pepto-Bismol out of the bottle. I was reacting. I was having rashes. I was flushing. I was having chronic UTIs. All my body was at a war with itself. And I was diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, which is basically your body attacking itself. Sends out just a lot of chemicals because it feels like it's constantly in danger. I know that a lot of that was because I've been in fight or flight for a very long time. So my body was finally done. And a piece of that was all of a sudden, I just puffed into like a marshmallow, what seemed like overnight. I was red, I was fluffy, I was still going to the gym, I was barely eating, but yet my weight was just pound after pound after pound, just going up, up, up. And as somebody who is a health coach and has coached people on how to lose weight since they've been 19, I felt completely out of control. It was the worst feeling because it's like, what to do. Why isn't this working? Now, I do feel like that gave me more empathy towards people who, are always doing the right things and nothing is working. So to me, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. What happened was I decided to go on a GLP-1. somewhat secretly, but I was very open about it. But it was just like, I'm going to test this. And same situation. Stomach pain went away. I started to just depuff. I just was not in pain anymore. And not having the noise in my head about what I was going to eat next, how many calories it was, if it was going to make the scale go up, if I'm going to have to go out for a walk to get rid of that. Life changing. Life changing. Quiet brain. And so I don't know if any of you guys relate to that, but a quiet brain when you have ADHD and you have, you're just a very feeling person and I'm always thinking, was just amazing. So my peptide story did start with a GLP-1. I lost 35 pounds in 6 months. And that was the gateway into all the rest of the stuff that we're now using. So what I will tell you guys is that when something works for me, I tend to dig really hard to prove maybe this is just, in my head. What is it about? What's the science behind this? Why is this working? And I really get a little obsessed. So I'm obsessed with peptides now. So because I wanted to know, why is this working for people? Because what happened was the GLP-1 did help me lose the weight, but I was still quite tired. I was having different like ups and downs. I also have premenstrual dysphoric disorder, so I have very high sensitivity to my hormone changes. Now that started to get better, but what happened was I added glutathione, then I cycled in NAD, which works on hormones regulation as well. And I started to feel myself just come back to life, really come back to being myself. Like Michelle said, I just feel like I have a second chance. June of 2025, I was crying most of that month because I felt like myself again. And if you've ever not felt like yourself and thought, oh, is she ever coming back? I think she's gone. I felt that again. And that was when I decided that I was going to be telling people about this. And I was going to be sharing, and I was going to be making this my business. The final peptide that I want to tell you guys about is BPC 157 TB500. That is my goat because part of my nervous system basically crash was that, and my mast cell situation is that my body doesn't react correctly to stress. And so I have a bladder pain syndrome that came from that because the pelvic region is connected to the brain and the nervous system so tightly that my nervous system reacts in my pelvic region. It's really fun, but it feels like I have a UTI, about every couple of days. Really, really low quality of life at that time. And BPC 157 works on nerves and tissues. And oh my gosh, you guys, it really started to make my flares go away. And I like to share that just in case you know anyone who has this horrible, horrible condition. BPC 157 is life-changing. So that I cycle every, really, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to go off of it again because I feel so much better on it. So I just like to share that to me, this is probably one of the most natural things I have done because for 15 years, I've been putting herbs and greens and things that my body has never had inside of it before into my body with the hopes that those natural things will help the functions in my body. And they do. However, when we're putting peptides in, body already knows what it is. It's already there. So we're just replenishing and adding to it. That's why there's very few side effects because it's familiar. So I feel like this is very, very natural, really helping my body communicate. And like Heather said, I do feel like I'm back, and it's amazing. So thank you so much for having me on to tell you guys about it.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Rachel. I love your story. I hate that you had to go through everything that you had to go through to get here. But because of that, you've been able to help so many people on their journeys as well. So as you can hear tonight, that we all have different journeys, different things that we've gone through, different surgeries, cancers, different, I don't know what you want to call it, disorders, diseases, whatever, all the things that Rachel just mentioned in her story, which is a lot. But, we all have a story. We all are dealing with things. And that's why we love peptides, because like Rachel just said, peptides are already familiar to our body. We already produce them. They're already inside of our bodies. So we're just replenishing them. And that's why the body reacts so great to them, because they already know what it is and what to do with them. And so that's why this is so life-changing. So that's why we share. So get back with the person that invited you to this Zoom. And or if you're watching this recording, just reach back to whoever shared this with you. Ask the questions, take a look at the website. Our website is very, very robust. We have scientific journals on there, frequently asked questions. If you want a consultation with a doctor first, that is an option. That is an additional fee, but you will get some of that feedback towards your peptides if you decide to move forward. But that is an option. And what that will look like is you'll go to the website. We would guide you on what we think is best for you, depending on your goals, your symptoms, whatever, you're looking to kind of take care of. And then you will fill out that telehealth questionnaire based on the product that you're choosing, and to make sure that there is, no contradictions with the medications that you would be using. And the doctor will take a look at that. Our licensed professionals will look it all over. They will decide if you're approved or denied. And then when you're approved, it's sent to our 503A pharmacy. And from there, the pharmacy will compound it for you. And the beauty of it is they overnight it on ice straight to your doorstep. It's very convenient. And then you will have us to, help support you on your journey. We cannot give medical advice or diagnose or any of those things, but we are here to just help to educate you and to guide you on your journey, and help you get the best results possible. So with that, I am just going